We are now.
So welcome everybody. It was always our intention for Jay and I to plan this webinar out and do it, but we were chatting to Lisa yesterday and she said, why aren't I involved in this? So we decided to let her in, and I think we have every reason on such an amazing topic of incredible team, with the founder of Zing and also someone that's written the team's book. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't already read it, you should have. So if you haven't, hop on our website and you can purchase this book. So what we'd like to do is introduce Lisa if you don't already know her. So this is Lisa Conway, the founder of Zing and author of 3 books.
Which are now all in voice. Audio.
Oh, yeah, I think the story was very different to that, but that's interesting that she thought that I said, did you want to be involved? Because Jay rang me and said, Marie and I were having our meeting about the thing, and they said, why the hell are we doing this? Why isn't Conway doing it? Because she's far more qualified. Let's ask her. And at a weak moment, I said, yes, of course I'll do it for you. No worries. And then I thought, I haven't done my job today because I'm doing this. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I said yes, and you got to stick to your word. So now if I share my screen down the bottom, Chapman, is that what I do? And then it will go to here. Is that right?
Yes, so apparently so. Yes.
Share and share. Mm-hmm. And now I'll make it big and we should be good.
Yes, that's looking good on, yes, that's perfect. Do you want to test if it moves?
Oh, okay. It moves.
Good. And we can keep our videos on so people can stare at our beautiful faces throughout the presentation.
Why would my nose be drippy right now? Okay, let's go. So your salon team. Tonight I want to talk to you about team because I absolutely love team. I just think it's the making of your business. If you get the team right, the rest is easy. And I think if you ask anybody, whether they're a mechanic or whoever they are, say, what's your biggest challenge? And they always say team. So tonight I don't want to fluff around. I want to get to the core, and I don't want to say, oh, it'll be all lovely next week. I want to really talk to you about your team, and I want to get you to think differently about your team. So I'd like to think that you can give me permission to tell it how it is. So I think you're saying yes. I'm hearing yes, yes, yes. They're all saying yes, are they? Well, there's no good being fluffy, I don't think, is there? I don't think, anyway. Let's go. So the problem with that's not going to work. Oh, see, Chapman?
Press the yes, that's the one. Arrow across.
Talk about team. The problem isn't actually the problem isn't the problem, right? So whether you can't find team or you can't find a suitable person, or you're looking for a person who's more mature, or you're looking for someone who's just right or whatever, it's actually not the problem. I think you need to have a better look at that. I think it's your attitude to the problem, right? So your attitude to the problem is, I can't do it. I'm struggling. This is really hard. There isn't any hairdressers or beauty therapists around. I actually think that's the real problem, and you have to change your mindset. I really do. And the reason I know this is because that's what happened to me. So everything that happens to you in your business is your fault, and everything that happens to me in my business. And I have to remind myself of that from time to time, because quite often I think to myself, oh my God, why don't they get it? I don't know how many times I've explained this to you and you still don't get it. And I think, what is wrong with these people? And then I stop and I think, okay, it's me. I'm not the person teaching them in the way that they understand. And there's many ways to teach a person, but owning a salon is a journey. It's a road. It never, ever ends. It only ends when you sell the salon. Other than that, there's going to be winds in the road. There's going to be hills in the road. But owning a salon is a journey, and everything that's happening to you, for example, someone's doing a haircut and they did a terrible job. A customer rings up and complains. Somebody says, I wish you were open at 6 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon and you're only open till 2 o'clock. That's your responsibility to know the answer to everything. And as tough as that might seem, it's true, right? So everything that happens to you, now if that person mucks up the client, you employed her, you didn't train her properly. Or maybe you think you trained her and you didn't, but everything is yours. So once you take that responsibility on as, okay, what could I do differently? Things are about to change for you. They really are. Now, some of you would have seen this and some of you may not have seen this, but this is what I call above and below the line, right? Simply because your attitude some days is happy and sunny and other days it's not so much, okay? So the simplest way to explain this is everybody lives above the line and we drop below. So I think, okay, it's my responsibility to teach my team members. I'm accountable for choosing the wrong person and putting her into my business. And I'm taking ownership that everything that happens in my business is my fault. And I'm taking ownership of the fact that maybe I haven't advertised properly. But when I feel like a bit shitty about stuff, I think, you know what? The problem is that they don't train them like they used to. The problem is Gen Y is really difficult. They're spoiled. They've been handed everything on a silver platter. And then you say, well, you know what? I did this and she didn't do that. So they're excuses and you're blaming people or you're blaming the situation. Or worse than that, you think that there is no answer to the solution and you just think, well, this is how it is. If you own a salon, it's just going to be a shit fight, really. And that's a denial. So you're in a place where you think either there isn't a problem or the problem can't be fixed. Now, nobody on this webinar would be in denial because why would you show up to learn something? So you're not there. So I believe that you all live above the line, but sometimes you live below. So that's normal. My children always say to me, Mum, it's fine with your coaching. I'm a bit below the line today. Just give me some time and I'll be back. I go, good, because you've acknowledged it. What I want you to think about is there's two decisions that you make when you know that you are below the line. The first one is the time, okay? How long are you going to spend below the line? So for just a normal situation, take a half an hour, get a coffee, get outside and have a think about how did you get here? How did this happen? What should I have done or not done before today? Or a big thing, like someone leaves and takes half your database, you got a half a day. That's it. And then you get back up. So decide the time frame that you're going to spend feeling shit because you need to spend some time there to learn the lessons. And you might even say, you know what, cancel my appointments or move them. I'm going home because I am not in a good space, and take your whole half a day. And the next day the sun comes up and guess what? Get back on that horse. The only difference between people who succeed and people who don't is those who succeed persevere. They just keep going. So try and find the message that's in the mess. So everything that's happening to you today or me today is my fault, and it happened because of the stuff that you decided back there. If you don't have any appointments today, it's because you didn't rebook them 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. So everything that's happening today happened upstream. The fact that you're not good with money today might be because you grew up in a family where nobody was good with money, but it still happened back there. The fact that this is your third salon and you still haven't learnt the lesson how to not employ people without a proper structure, that's your fault, but it happened back there. So everything that happens to you today can't be fixed today. It can only be fixed in the future. So if you started to train your team, if you started to implement things like above and below the line, if you put one on the microwave and on the back door, and every time someone makes a negative comment, you could say, you look at that and you tell me where you see that comment. I can't do a blow wave. No, I'm struggling to do a blow wave. Can you help me? That's the difference. See, the language is really important. So if you say you can't, you're absolutely right. If you say I'm struggling and I need you to help me so I can get it, you're also absolutely right. So take a half an hour, a half a day and get back above the line, because misery happens below the line and I don't want to be with people like that. And sometimes you're married to them. Sometimes they're your family members and it's difficult to keep away from them. But if you want to improve your life, take absolute ownership of everything that's happening to you. What I do today. So it's really interesting what I do today. I think sometimes I stop and I pinch myself. I've created an incredible environment by taking ownership of what's happening to me. But I've also not listened to lots of people that tell me that our industry is in trouble, that tell me that Generation Y can't do this or Generation X is shit. And I think that's not true. Yeah, some of them are like that, I agree. But how many people of my generation are even still around? Most of them are gone. So what are you comparing, apples with apples? I'm exceptional in my generation, and that's why I'm still here. And you know what? Today in Gen Y, there are exceptional people as well, but they're looking for a really strong leader. So sometimes I pinch myself because I think, that's amazing. Like, I wanted to coach because of my disaster and the mess that I made. So I'll go back to my backstory. I had a salon, and the only reason I got a salon is I didn't want to work for Sam anymore. I worked for Sam for 16 years and I raised my children, and the twins were about 8 and Tess was 9. And all I wanted to do was get away from Sam. I'd been with Sam since I was, I think, 19. Now, I love the man, I really did, and he taught me a lot of things, but he was quite over it, to put it bluntly. And I wanted to make changes and do things like that. And Sam just couldn't be bothered. And I thought, you know what? I just want to do more. I wanted to create this incredible space that was just me, and I had complete control over everybody that came into my salon. And that's what I did. I got a small salon, and I even cut it in half with a wall, and I put 2 stations and 2 basins. I thought, that's all I need. Good, done. My business plan was nothing. I didn't have one. All I wanted to do was not work for Sam. And my husband didn't want me to have a salon, but he said, if you can make the same money as you do for Sam working 3 days, but you work 5 days and the kids can come after school, we're good. I thought, okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to do. So for quite an ambitious woman that I am today, I was not ambitious there because my children were my priority. So what I did was I started, and I was having the best time. It was so good. It actually cost me my marriage, if I'm really honest, because what happened was I decided that I was really good at running a salon, and I got a team member to help me. Then I got another team member to help me. Then I got another team member to help me. And before I knew it, I was up to 3, almost 4 team members. And I thought, this is so much fun. But I was at year 3 and I was absolutely exhausted. And I thought, who signed me up for this shit fight? Like, to be honest, everybody wanted me. I had this wonderful way with people. I wasn't the best hairdresser in the world. I was the fastest because Sam taught me to be fast. But I thought, I'm actually not happy. I've created another mess. So I ran away from Sam and his 12 team members because I felt like nobody knew what was going on. There was no organisation. And guess what? I made the same mess myself because I didn't learn the lesson. And I was the problem, saying, no, that's okay, put him in my chair, I'll do him. No, that's all right, come here, I can do it today. So all I did was kept hogging the ball and doing all the work. And then I thought to myself, what happened? I remember going on holidays, and we were doing about $4,500, $5,000 a week. I went on holidays, and while I wasn't there, one week they did $1,800, another week they did $2,000. And I was so angry because not only was I spending money on holidays and accommodation and everything, I was down $3,000 a week. You can imagine how grumpy that made me feel. And before I went away, I did lots of clients, and when I came back, they were all piled up like black and white TVs at the tip. I thought, what am I going to do? I had no idea. My marriage was really in trouble, and I thought, I got no idea how to manage the money. I didn't know what I was doing. So I put my hand up and I rang a bloke called Bruce because his wife was teaching my kids at school, and I was quite embarrassed that I didn't know anything about the business. And she was a bit of a nutter, Sue, and I thought, maybe Bruce won't laugh at me if I tell him how little I know about running a business. And I remember meeting him in the pub. He was not a hairdresser, he had a bald head and a very outdated suit, and he shook my hand and sat down and asked me about 40 questions, and I ended up in tears. And I said to Bruce, I would love to work with you and I would like you to help me. Can you help me? And he said, yes. And I said, but I want to leave my husband. And he knew my husband, and I'd never told anybody else except Bruce. And he said, we'll look after your promise. It actually makes me emotional thinking about it. And so I got on with it. And I went home and I thought about how I was going to leave and what I was going to do, but I was so frightened. But I thought, what am I going to do? I've stopped loving the thing that I loved. I hated it, and I had no idea how to get out of this situation. So Bruce helped me. So when you think about that girl back then who had no idea what she was doing, and I just thought, what have I done? Who can I tell? And now I stand on stage and help people all over Australia and New Zealand. I even wrote 3 books. Like, who would have thought you could do that? I couldn't run a salon to save myself. But what I had was passion, and what I had was grit. And what I knew is I wanted to keep being a salon owner. I wanted to stay in this industry. So if you are feeling hurt or you're feeling exhausted, there is help out there. You just have to decide whether you've got it in your tank to keep going. And if you have, I will help you. In fact, at the end of the webinar, I've got a special offer for you today. All right? So don't think you're on your Pat Malone. This was me. Can you see this little one over here on there? I'll go the thing there. Can you see that? That's me. I had braces on and a big hook nose. I was an ugly little bugger back then. But anyway, we've improved thanks to money. I grew up in a team, actually. This is my immediate brothers and sisters and my granddad. So I had 5 brothers and 3 sisters. So team is just what you do. The good thing about being in a big family, if I was going to stay at my girlfriend's house and not be home for dinner, it didn't really matter. Like, have a look at them. There was 8 other children in the family. And that's a good thing about a team. And it's no different in your salon. If you've got 8 or 10 in your salon and one rings in sick and one's pregnant, we're good. We'll work together as a team. But if you're an only child, the good thing about that is you're going to get the whole inheritance. So that's good. But apart from that, you're going to have to make every decision about your parents as they age. You're going to have to make every decision about everything. And that's the same in your salon. So there is more safety in team. If you have 2 team members and 1 sick, you lost 50% of your workforce in 1 phone call. If you've got 10 and 1 sick, you've lost 10%. And it's as simple as that. I feel quite sad that a lot of people today can't get past 3 team members, or they can't get past 5. And that's because they need to learn to be a better leader. No different to me, who was crying with Bruce saying, I don't know what I've done. Can you help me? It's the same. The hardest thing to do is put your hand up and understand that there is so much more money to be made if you have a team. So you think about, if your rent is $800 a week and you've got 8 team members, that means they only have to contribute $100 each to cover the rent. But if your rent's $800 a week and you've got 1 team member, then you've got all 800 has to go to the rent. Or if you've got 2, then it's 400 each. So you've got to start thinking like a businesswoman. And that's what I didn't know how to do. Entertain people till I was absolutely exhausted, I could do that. But a businesswoman, I was not. Okay? So just understand that there is help out there and there's a safety in numbers. There is 2 parts to owning a salon, and there's 2 parts to the team. Right? The team is where the money's hiding. I can tell you that now. And I used to say to people, all right, tell me about your best team member. Oh, she's a 10 out of 10. She's whatever. And I say, okay, well, what if all 6 people were like her? And they go, oh my God, it would be a breeze. And I go, okay, so you've got some skill. You found one, clearly. And I say, well, who's your worst? Oh my God, she does my head in. She was late today, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what is she out of 10? I'd give her a 2 on a good day. And I'm like, okay, all right. So you've got the ability to harbour a bad team member. So what if every one of your 6 team members were like her, and they'd go, oh, I'd shut the door. I'd burn the place down. And I say, so this is the problem. You have the skill to find the good ones, and you have the too much nice to hold on to the bad ones. So isn't it just a matter of learning? You have A-grade clients, you have D-grade clients. You have A-grade team members, you have D-grade team members. That's all it is, guys. So how someone sees you on the outside is really, really important. So if you want to attract people into your team, people are looking at you all the time. And guess what? They're not just looking at you as in looking into your salon. There's a new way that people look to you. How you appear on social media. Also, they're looking, do you play the full game? Are you a negative person? Do you ever talk down about your team members? Do you go to all these events? And are you always looking for team? Are you always looking for team? Because you should. It's not like a husband. When you've got a husband, you shouldn't be looking for the next one, right? Unless he's really sick or something. But you shouldn't, okay? Just take that back, Lisa. You really shouldn't. But when it comes to salon, you should always be looking for your next senior and your next junior, always, because your business should be growing. So let's look at this. This is, if you looked in my phone at any day, on any day of the week, you would see lots and lots of pictures of me. This is how I share my knowledge with my team. I record myself saying this, saying that, because it's so much easier to watch a recording of me than it is to read a document that I wrote. True or not? We have a lot of ways that we can present our front door. Instagram, social media. If you ring up and say, have you heard of Lisa Conway? And they say, oh, I don't really know. And then you might show the naked cell and they go, yeah, I've heard of her. Yeah, that's right. She's always on social media. That's my front door. What's your front door look like? It's really important to know what your front door looks like. our industry attracted by people who are fun and energetic. That's what I am. And that's why I don't have any trouble attracting people to me, because they know I'll tell it how it is, but they know I know a good sense of fun. I'm the genuine article. I'm very rarely, or Jay Marie could couch for me that I'll be in a bad mood. I can be cross with myself. And if you need a bit of a walloping, I'll give it to you. But this is what has changed my industry. For me, is my front door. I decided to be the face of my business. So ask yourself, are you the face of your business? If I looked on your social media, if I looked on your website, can I see the real you? Sometimes I'm disappointed that all I see is the backs of your head or a couple of eyebrows. The eyebrow shot doesn't show me who you. People buy from people, and you need to be your own front door. You need to get out and about. This is a salon that I went to the other day and had my hair done, and I just love her. She's such a gorgeous girl. She's vibrant and she's always out and about, going to education and things. And you wouldn't know her salon actually from the outside, I don't think, looks nearly as good as she does, or the work that she does. So her front door doesn't look as good as I think it could. It's almost like a chocolate. When you get inside, you go, wow, this is so good. I think that Sam could have a better front door. She might be listening. I've got a meeting with her next week, and I'd love to tell her that what I experienced in her salon was unbelievable, but from the outside it does not look like that. She's very educated, incredible in colour. She's just one talented girl, and I don't think it matches. The opposite to Sam is people who have these wonderful front doors, and when you get inside, there's no soul, there's no love, and that's really sad. Sam's got the right mix. Her salon is in a very obscure location. It is always full. She lives near me, so I walk past with the dog. It doesn't matter when you go past, every chair is full of colour, every chair. All right, so that's what you want, isn't it? You don't want the great facade and no internal. Sam's got incredible internal. The inside the salon, this is really important. This is about retaining your team members as well. Your communication needs to be really clean and clear. Your culture points need to be really clear, and I'll show you that. I'm not a big fan for product manuals. I just think blah, 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 blah. You know, I think, where is it? And they go, oh, I think it's here. And they run around bumping into one another looking for the bloody thing. I thought, well, you're clearly not using it if you have to go and look for it. And then they go, here it is. And I think, really? No pictures in it. We're colourful people. We want to see videos. We want to see pictures. We want to see how it's done, not like who does that? Even if I read it, I couldn't remember it. That's why my book's in audios now, because I'm listening to my own book. I'm reading a book to me that I'm listening on iTunes. That is mental. And I listen to it and I go, wow, that's really good. And I wrote it. So, you know, just get involved, immerse yourself, but be really clear on what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate. And the last one is structure and planning. If you don't have a plan for your future, it's going to be a bit wishy-washy, yeah? Your insurance policy and your payroll is encompassed around a cup of coffee. It absolutely is. If you don't make time to buy every team member, I don't care if you've got 10 team members, have 10 coffees, you can have water. I don't give a rat's. Just sit down with every person, and in the beginning it's probably going to be half an hour, but when you get going it'll be 15 minutes a week. That person needs to be heard, and you need to ask them, how can I help you? Or what are you working on? If you can get every team member to be the best version of themselves, to absolutely wow their clients, that's where the money's hiding. So think about, you've got 4 team members. If you spent time with each person individually, I bet you anything you could raise their revenue by at least $500. 4 people, that's $2,000 a week. Isn't that better than you doing more haircuts and colours? Isn't that better than you doing more facials? Spend time with your people and raise them above you. Jay and Marie are, if not better coaches than me, equal to me, because I spent all my time training them. I don't have a problem. In fact, you're better off with them than you are with me. I'm not structured enough. They've got plans and structure. I just wing it. That's why they said, do you want to do the webinar? I go, yeah, I can do that. Just throw it at me. Marie would have to have 47 bullet points because she's a structured girl. That's not my strength. Okay? So what you've got to do is you've got to think about, where do I make my team better than me? And that's what you need to do. Have a coffee meeting every week, and never, ever, ever take them out of the appointment. I don't care if that's the only time that lady can come. Nobody is more important in your team than your team. And if you are the best boss ever and you wow your team members, they will walk over hot coals for you and they will wow your clients. So it comes down the pipe. You wow them as the best boss you've ever been and they wow the clients. That's what I am to Jay and Marie. I'm here, if they want me, call. But they wow our clients because this is what we do. It comes down the pipe. Hope that makes sense. And for team members who are listening, if you want a pay rise, it's so easy. Just do your job. Recommend retail is the fastest way to get a pay rise. You can recommend retail tomorrow and get a pay rise. It's that instant. In fact, today I was talking to some beauty salons that I'm working with, and one of the girls, she said, have a look at this. They were doing $500 a week, and I've been working with them on this 6-week program. We're up to about week 4, and her retail was $1,800. I said, what the hell? She goes, I know. And they've only scratched the surface. So I said to her, what's her rent? And she worked out her rent was $800 a week. I said, she just paid her rent with 1 week's retail. How cool is that? It's not that hard, is it? But what we've got to do is we've got to look at your team. Where are you going to win? And you're going to win with your team. Absolutely. So if you've got people in your team that are 2 out of 10, they're probably not going to come up to a 10, let's be honest here. But if you've got 7s and 8s, and that's what everybody tells me, oh, she's a 7, she's an 8, I bet you I can get them up to a 10. I bet you anything. And I'm going to show you how to get them up to a 10. And the way you do it is sit down and have a coffee with them every week. The trouble that I find in salons are we say, oh, could you sell some more retail, please? What does that mean? 1 more? We need to make more money. What, $1? It's not clear enough. If you're really smart, you will nail this, S-M-A-R-T. Now, you've probably heard of it. I took it from a corporate world and brought it into ours, so be specific with what you're asking. Today, we have a chat. Remember the meeting we had about retail? I want you to put the retail product in front of every single client today and say, this is what I used on the basin. Or if it's a facial or a waxing, this is what I want you to use, this mitt. This is the cream that I want you to use on your face to keep the sun off you. This is... And every single client, if you were to do that, that's really specific. Every single client, every single time. Is it measurable? Yep. Every single client, every single time is measurable. Heaps is not a measure. I said to you, can you give it heaps? What does that even mean, right? Is it achievable? Are you asking someone to do something that you haven't been trained to do? That's one of the mistakes we make. They say, I want you to do 3 microdermabrasions this week. The poor kid doesn't know how to recommend a microdermabrasion. So how the hell is she going to achieve it? But if I asked you, I want you this week, our campaign is everybody leaves with a product or a sample of a product. That's really specific, isn't it? So is it achievable? If they've been trained, absolutely yes. Is it realistic? Yes, that's realistic. That's your job. That's what they're supposed to do. And the time frame is today. So let's look at it this way. If I said, Jay, can you go to the milk bar and get me some milk? And then you turn around and you think, where is he? You didn't go to the milk bar. You didn't say when. I said, Jay, what are you doing now? And he goes, I'm waiting for my next client. She's 5 minutes away. Good. Here's $5. Could you go next door and get me 1 litre of Rev, please, before your next client comes in? Do you think the second instruction is clearer or the first? And quite often we get disappointed that they don't do what we want, and that's because we as leaders are not clear enough. Very, very important that you understand that. I can remember going to my salon and I'd say, oh, whose kids have been in here with fingerprints all over the front window with their sticky buddy lollipops? And I'd say to the go to the back room, there'd be 2 or 3 girls there, and I'd say, can one of you girls take those where that kid's been, please, after he goes, and take those marks off? And I'd come back at the end of the day to do the till when all the kids were gone to bed, and I'd think, oh my God, they're still there, the marks. What the hell? Like, and I'd look in the book and I'd go, well, she had an hour there, she had half an hour there. Why? Is something wrong with these people? But what I did, and Bruce taught me, was I wasn't specific. So I would go into the back room and I'd say, Marie, what are you doing? She goes, I'm just mixing a colour roll. I can't help it. Okay, what are you doing? To another person and say, I'm just waiting for my colour to process. Good. While your colour's processing, can you get me 2 rags, 1 wet and 1 dry? Can you go to the front window and wipe off those sticky marks off that kid's left there now for me, please, and dry it so it doesn't make any smudgy marks? What do you think the chances of getting it done? far greater. And if it didn't get done, I could go back to Marie at the end of the day and say, what happened? So you have to be really specific of what you're asking for. Every team needs a right environment to grow. So the way I explain this is it's really like a plant, right? So a plant cannot grow without 4 things. It needs sunshine. You can't put a plant in the dark, it'll die. Even cactuses, eventually they will die. Soil. It might grow in water for a while, but plants grow in soil. Fertilizer. It might grow for quite a long time, but eventually it's going to not thrive because it will take all the nutrients out of the soil and eventually it needs fertilizer. Now, whether that comes from nature or the rain or wherever, it needs fertilizer. And the last thing it needs is water. Without those 4 things, a plant will never grow. The same in your salon. There is 4 things that your team members need to grow. They need the environment. That is equivalent to the sunshine. They need to be in an environment where the sun shines on them and you're the sun, rather than the wind blows the hell out of them. They get no feedback and then, why don't you do this? That's not what they want. They want you to shine on them. They want to be the person who wants to grow. So you have to be the person to shine on. The next part is education. If you do not educate your team, that's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. They say, I educate them and they leave. You know what's worse than that? Don't educate them, the buggers hang around. Worse. So you must be educating your clients, and that's the same as soil. You have to educate them. You've got to put them in an environment where they learn, in the salon and outside, or you get people in. So you're not the only one teaching. They need really good soil. The other thing they need is fertilizer, which is feedback. Now, anybody who grows plants know if you dump a lot of fertilizer on a plant, you'll burn the bastard, right? So don't dump too much fertilizer on. Be very careful with your feedback and always wrap it, what I call, in a smack, pat, smack. I love the way you're always on time. You're a ripper of a kid. We do need to talk about how long it takes to do your blow wave, but you know what? I'm going to teach you with that. And you've learned everything else. Oh, you know what? I reckon you'll pick this up too. Now, did you notice I slipped the blow waves are taking too long in the middle with a pat, slap, and a pat? That's what feedback needs to be. Now, if you've got a timid kid, very large praise, tiny little slither of a smack, very large praise. Or if you get like I used to be with Claire, my manager, she goes, don't worry about the praise. We're good. Tell me what I need to do. Right? But that's a different relationship and not everybody's like that, and it takes a long time to get there. The last thing your team members do, and I used to do this terribly, was certainty. They need to know that they have a job. Your only job is to make sure they have one. You must make them feel secure at work. What I did wrong, I feel terrible telling you this, was I used to say, well, if you don't get it right, you dickheads, like if you can't sell those products, we'll just take them back and we'll go back to that other stuff we were selling. That's not helping anyone. I was terrible. I just thought because I could do it, why couldn't they do it? And that's not certainty. My job is to make sure that the clients are coming in all the time. We've had more clients than we can handle. That is certainty. Now, when I went before, I talked about the bullshit manual that I don't like. I'm not poo-hoo on manuals. Some of them are good. And some people I know use them all the time. That's fine, right? And especially when a new person comes, take the manual home, have a big long read and fall asleep, whatever. But I think the best thing you can do is have culture points. So this is just an example, and if anybody wants to screenshot it, or we can send you this afterwards if you want to. But we put up culture points, but we won't give them to you because you've got to work them out with your team. So you can't slap culture points up and say, here, do this. You have to explain it. We don't do drama. So when someone comes in and says, oh my God, my boyfriend, that's drama. We don't do drama. Come here, Susie. What's number 1? Read it out to me. Good. Now get back in the salon and give all your attention to your clients, because I bet you as sure as hell when you get home, your boyfriend's still a dickhead. So make this a place where it's boyfriend dickhead free. That's what you need, okay? Every person is of equal value. I don't want you out the back having a cigarette while someone's doing your cashing up or someone's doing your shampoo. No. Why is she doing that for you? What are you doing for her? If someone ever shampoos for me, it's because I was dealing with a client. I would never let my team, a junior, do a shampoo while 2 girls had a chat. No. If you're gonna pull a girl off dusting shelves to do your shampoo, you go and dust the shelves. She's got jobs to do. Every person is of equal value. We say, how can I help you? And we say it all day long. So I remember being like this, cutting hair and thinking, oh, where's one of those kids? You know, I need a bit of help here. Can someone wash my next client? Why should I have to look for you to help me? You're the one who doesn't have a job. Come up to me and say, what can I do for you, Lise? Oh, actually, can you take her through, please, and set her up, and I'll be over to do the consultation. It should be the other way around, right? You are responsible for you. I'm responsible for me, and we don't do late. So one girl I used to have, Stace, she used to get there late all the time. I said, all right, Stace, in your head, you start at 8:30. Then you can run over a cat on the way to work. You can be late. You can stop at the bank and your grandma's. I don't give a shit, Stace. You start at 8 work. So she'd skid in at 8:45. I go, guess what? You're 15 minutes early. That's what I said to her, because she always had a national disaster in the morning. So I said, you start at 8:30. And that worked. We don't do late. We are responsible for our own actions. We never delete our one-on-ones. That's a no-brainer. Nothing is more important than you in my business. I'm going to give you 15 minutes of my time every week, and that way you'll get no surprises. We look after each other because we are a team. If someone's having a really bad day and there's got some stuff going on at home, we really need to address that. We say, okay, I'm a little fragile today. Good. Doesn't mean you don't get out of vacuuming and mopping. It means that we will just be a little bit gentle with you. You show up every day like that, we'll talk about it. Attention to detail matters. You know what that covers? It covers the lid off the peroxide. It covers mopping the floor like this instead of doing it properly like this. Attention to detail matters. So when someone's not doing something, you go, read that one for me. What's number 5? Okay, so where are you showing attention to detail over there when you're just slapping things on? You know, you're not measuring things. It just doesn't work. We are photo ready. We are a 9 or above at all times. I reckon Marie Drever would be a 10 every time I see her. I don't think I've ever seen her looking feral. So we are photo ready. So that means if someone come into the salon and said, we're ready to take a team photo, watch them scatter. Why? Why would you scatter? You should be at your best. You're in the hair and beauty industry. Like, imagine going to a personal trainer, he goes, yeah, I'll just drink me Coke and eat me pie and I'll be with you in a minute. Like, you would just run. So why the hell is it okay that you don't have your makeup on and your hair done? Like, sometimes I see people and I think, what are you doing? I was in Hair House Warehouse the other day buying some peroxide for my hair, and the girl said, I remember you because you used to work for Sam. I said, yeah. She goes, I was a junior when you were leaving. They still talked about you after you left. You were so Sam's favourite. I said, yeah, I can know why. I was a damn good earner. And I said to her, she goes, what do you do now? And I thought, well, how do you tell her? I said, I write books and I speak on stage. And she goes, oh, really? You always had a real go in you. And I said, can I ask you something? She goes, yeah. Like, she was real keen. I go, where's your face? She goes, oh, I know. She had not a skerrick of makeup on. She was about 20. I said, I can't believe it. Where's your boss? She goes, shut up. That's enough. Get out of here now. And laughed. Like, that is equivalent to having a pie and chips in the gym. Don't do it. There's so much that you can do to raise the standard in your salon. And if we fuck it up, we apologise. You know, I've said to Jane Marie and the others, I'm so sorry, I never realised that. Do I not apologise? Jay said something the other day to me, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I don't even know what it was. And then he went to Drever and he goes, have a listen to this. I'm going to put it on repeat. Such a shit. But I do apologise. I'm not perfect, and nobody is. But you need to own it. You really do. How do you get paid more? Retail. That's easy. That is the fastest way to make more money. Move retail. People are going into Hair House Warehouse buying products because we do not do our job. We have to get it. That's a whole other exercise. But if you're a team member and you want to be paid more, do retail. If you went into any job anywhere and said, I can sell for $1,000 in retail, hands up those who wouldn't go and grab them with 2 hands. Nobody sells retail unless they absolutely know the product, they are confident in what they're doing, and they care about the client's outcome. If you're not selling half of your clients a product to take home, you're not doing your job. It's as simple as that. So that's a measure at Zing of how your team's going. If you're doing 50 clients a week, I want to see at least 25 retails go out, and we will ride you until you get it, because that is where customer loyalty is, and that's where money is. Absolute gold. Now, there's 2 places where most salon owners come undone. Do you want to hear them? Yeah, I won't show you, will I? Of course I will. They have no succession planning. So at best, you get 2 weeks, and then you go, oh she's leaving. How dare she? Or worse, this week I had a salon. She might even be listening. She's hair and beauty. Out the back, she's got this beauty girl. I coached her about 3 years ago, and she said to me, oh, finally X left. I thought, okay, whatever. So what are you going to do? She's going to do this and that, whatever. And I said, so can I ask you, why did you wait until she left? She goes, oh, well, she wasn't really, she just, she's just a waxer, whatever. And I said, I know, but so you're letting your clients get average service. Is that okay for you? So what she wants to do is turn that into a beauty salon and move the hair to another location, which, she's got a couple of salons, so she's doing really well in many ways. I said, you had everyone coming there to beauty, and if you had a succession plan, I would have trained that girl within the inch of her life, or I would have had all that database active, and then you could have said to everybody, come in now to our new opening of the salon. That's succession planning. You've got to be looking ahead to see the crocodiles that are coming. That's your job. It's not your job to be on the floor and do 100 clients. It's your job to see what's coming. And too often we look for another senior with must be experienced, enthusiastic, whatever, and then they come back and they say they ride a horse. I've never seen a horse in a salon yet. Have you? Like the CVs are rubbish. Everybody has another senior in their team, and they're probably this little one with the pink collar on. If you worked on that person and helped them, they know your salon already, they love you, just teach them to come up through the ranks. Stop looking out there like, oh, I'm looking for a senior. It's like looking for a husband that's house trained. They don't come house trained. Get one and train it yourself. That's what happens. And worse, husbands come divorced, they've got baggage. Everybody that you need, already. I tell you that now. Could be the kid on the shampoo, could be the person answering the reception. You have people in your life that are the next senior. And so you should always be looking within before you look out. But if you don't know who your next junior is and who your next senior is, you should be planning. Absolutely. That's where people come unstuck. 2 weeks is just not enough notice. How long you keep a person. Like I said about this girl the other day in the beauty salon, 5 years. 5 years. She was lucky to lose it to, I think, a pregnancy or a wedding. Whoop-de-doo. Why did you keep her there? This is what we do wrong. We keep people and they go, oh, she's such a nice kid. Yeah, she doesn't perform. It's a numbers game. They're not doing at least in hair 3.5 times their gross wage, then I don't think you should be keeping them. Now, if they're progressing, if they're rebooking, if their retail sales were 2 and now they're 4, I'm happy as long as I can see some growth, because most of them just need a strong leader, and that's where you let them down. Most people keep people in their business for far too long, and that's where they come unstuck. So just to recap, how do you appear on the outside? What is the world seeing you? Do you play a full game, as in you show up and you present well and you go to outside education? Are you always looking for team? That's on the outside. On the inside, how do you communicate? Do you have clear culture points, and do you have structure and planning for everybody to grow in your business? That's what I want you to think about, and that's what I taught you tonight. Tonight, I will give any one of you who wants to 15 minutes of my time, even your dog, if you like. This is actually Sandy Chong's dog. I did a podcast with her the other day, and I said, I've never met Lola, so she went and got Lola, and have a look at her face. They say dogs don't look like their owners. I look like Muriel. I don't know about that one, just saying. I will give any of you 15 minutes of your time, because some of you will be thinking, Lisa's too scary, I don't want to work with her. And others might be thinking, I'd love to work with Marie. Well, you know what, I am scared. I'm a bit like Lisa when she was back then. I don't know your story, and I can't tell you if I'm the right fit for you. But if we do a 15 minutes and then a discovery, I will be absolutely honest. And more often than not, I say to people, read my book and then come back. And if you don't read the book, you don't come back. That is my gate. If you can't find time to listen, now you're lucky because you can listen, or read my book, you're not the right time. You're not my audience, because we guarantee a return on our investment 4 times. So whatever it costs you 1 month, you can make that in 1 week. And that's what we need to look at, your figures. You can have 1 hour with me. Now, if you have a discovery session with any of my coaches, it's $495 for the hour. It's a deep dive into your business. You have to give me your stats coming in, the clients you see, your average dollar sale, your rebooking. Anyone can get those. This is why I want to guarantee my work. 1 hour with me is $550. With Jane Marie, it's $495. With the other coaches, there's 7 of us, right? It's $495. But I'm higher because I'm the big knob and I just make up the rules. But tonight you can have it for $350. Now, I did this the first time the other day, for the very first time. And you know what? It made a couple who were a little bit uncomfortable and scaredy cat thought, yeah, I will. And they're so pleased that they did, because I made an incredible understanding in their business, and I found some things and they go, oh my God, I never thought about that. And I can see things that you can't see. You are too close to the prize. So if you want to, you have to inbox me to say it and get in touch with me, and you have the next 2 days. If you don't, that's fine. You can do it another time for $495, or you can do it another time for me, $550. But we're doing an act on this opportunity now. What I want you to do is give me your stats and I'll tell you what I see. Too often I see people come to me way too late, and I think, why would you wait so long? Why would you wait till you're in debt? Why would you do that? And why do you settle for okay? It's rubbish. There is so much money to be made in your salon. It's so exciting. We've got hundreds of testimonials. We can put you in touch with a salon that's just like you. Maybe she's got 3, maybe she's beauty. We'll give you some phone calls, some numbers, call them, do your homework on us. We want us to be your last coach. The saddest thing for me is they've been coached by this one, that one, that one, and then they come to me and I say, well, you tell me why I'll be any different. We're tough and we will get you the results. You mightn't always like us, but you'll respect us, and that's more important. So if I can do it from a girl who was crying in the pub saying, oh, all those years ago, and now I present on stage, it's hilarious. They pay me really good money because I'm so passionate and I want to help you. So if anybody's got a question and you're still on the call and you haven't run away because I've frightened you by being really honest and really passionate, I would love to answer any of your questions or hear what you have to say. Thank you very much.
Wowza, thank you, Lisa. It's time to have a glass of water and a breath.
Oh no, sorry, that was one sentence, wasn't it?
That's okay. Passion.
You're
That's exactly right.
Lisa. Very passionate.
So if you have any questions, there's a chat box down the bottom, and you'll be able to pop any questions in there. There's 2 options. You can do it just privately to one of us, or you can do it in front of the group. It's up to you. So does anyone have any questions about anything that Lisa mentioned tonight in the webinar? Pop it in the chat box.
You might want to write down your key learning. You might say the one thing that I took away, the one thing that I hadn't heard of. It would be really nice because feedback is fertilizer. So if you think that was really good, or I like that bit, Lisa, or whatever, it's really helpful if you could do that. So just write something in the chat box and at least I know you're still there. I can't see the chat box, guys, so you can.
Yep, no worries. I can see the chat box. It's amazing. Every time I read an article, or I read a book, listen to a podcast, or even listen to Lisa present a webinar, even if it's the same webinar, the same podcast, the same article, I get something different from it every time.
Yeah, I agree.
I think my key learning tonight, because I'm always learning, even same content, you still learn from it, is you have to work harder on yourself than anyone in your business. You've got to look at yourself, and it can be a real challenge to hold that mirror up in front of your face and look at yourself hard. But once you do, that's where the magic happens.
But that's the good news, really, because once you get your head around that and you realise that they will help you to grow your business, and they want to be in a good environment. Like, people say it's hard to find good team members, but I tell you what, good team members find it really hard to find a real, honest, loyal, passionate boss. It's not over it and cooked, you know? So I think it goes both ways. And if you just work on you, things just come your way. They just do, you know? Like, I remember wanting to be able to have an article published in a magazine, article. And now I just write them and push them out. And I stop sometimes. I think, wow, Lisa, it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get there. You won't get there tomorrow. I can tell you that now. But if you want to be where you want to be, and you need a clear goal to get there, and you need someone to say, not that way, this way, that's all.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your learning, Marie? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, mine's similar to Jay's, and I think the thing is you always learn from listening to somebody else, even if we've heard it 100 times. So I think even from just going into a salon today myself, I've been coaching them for a long time and they fell off the wagon of one-on-ones. And I think you can never forget to do your one-on-one meetings, because when you don't, without those, you don't have the team that follow you, and you need the persistence to keep going. And if you don't have the persistence, they fall off and they don't want to stay a part of a team that doesn't have direction, and they want your help and direction. They want that. And I think that's a big key thing.
And one of the things that I find is they say, oh, we stopped doing them because we had nothing to talk about. So I go, okay, so when they weren't performing like you wanted to, you had to discipline them and get them in line. And now that they're performing, you can't buy them a coffee? Like, that is just so
bad.
Screwed up. That is so screwed up. It's actually, so you're rewarding them for bad behaviour and you're not rewarding them when they're performing well. It's rubbish.
Yeah.
We've got a few key learnings and a question.
Oh, good. Off we go. Ask her to read it out. I can't see.
All good. Thank you for presenting, Lisa. The key learning was, the key for me was the person you need is already in your life. Jen has said, loved it, with a love heart emoji. My key learning was feedback delivery. I come in way too hot looking to deliver better in my one-on-ones tomorrow. So yeah, she comes in way too hot.
What do you mean way too hot? She looks hot, as in sexy?
No, she comes in. She comes in way too hot, and they're threatened by her. That's what she means. No, she comes in too hard, too fast. I think she's meaning. So maybe bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, it's like you know, I just think if you nurture people to trust your relationship and that they come to you, that's better. It's like a bird in a cage or feeding the birds in the park. I'd much rather feed the birds in the park. You know, I want people to come to me because I'm good to be around. Not they have to keep the job because they need the money. You know, I want them to be in my space because I'm good. I'm a good boss. You know. And it's funny, when I left the Gisborne salon and I opened up the salon in the city, I thought, well, no one knows who I am. So I said to the girls, could you all write a reason why you should work for Lisa Conway? And it blew me away what they said. And I thought it would be things like, it's, you know, we work with good products and we've got really good clients and she's a very fair person. It was none about that. It was like, she won't take any shit. And if you're out of line, she'll tell you. There's no bitching. We know where we stand. It's the only place where I've ever worked that we've had so many women and everybody knows, you know, what's going on. It was 9 women in 50 square metres. Not very big. I just thought, no, if you're not being nice, piss off. We don't do that here. And it's just a really lovely environment when it's a safe place to be at work. So it doesn't matter what's going on at home. When you come in that door, this is a safe place. So it's away from your shitty husband. It's away from your dog that keeps wetting on the mat. It's away from all those things, and it's a lovely place to be. It's fun.
So David has a question. Good question.
Hey, David.
Do you feel there is a time frame for growth in a team? We have changed our dynamics with 3 additional team members within a month. Should we get them to capacity before chasing the next one?
Yeah, I think never to capacity. I think always 75% to capacity. I'd really love to do a deep dive on his team members, because I think you do need to wait for people to build a rapport. But I think you've only got to see growth. Like if you're, say they're servicing 20 clients a week and they don't rebook any, that's not growth. Sorry, it's not. And I just think I could service 3 people and have 100% rebooking, because I would talk about the future. So this is the education. 2 things, truth and training. Truth first. Does this person want to be here? And the truth is, what don't they know? What are they struggling with? What are they scared of? So if you've looked after 10 people and nobody went home with a product and nobody was rebooked, that person's telling me that she doesn't care about her future. Because if she cared about her future, she would talk to me about maybe coming back in 3 weeks' time and having a toner. Or maybe, you know, what's going on? I've got my sister's wedding in 6 weeks. Good, let me do your hair for her. I'd love to. That'd be so good. What did you have in mind? What's the dress like? Yeah. No, that's what they're not doing. They're not seeing that every client, unless they die, will be back in somebody's salon. It might as well be yours. Yeah. Right? So it's really important that you look ahead, but you teach that. And that's the sad part about our industry. We don't teach engagement. We don't teach suggestion thinking. We just teach the skill. And that's a real shame. I think you should teach that first before anything else. And you can just teach it in role play.
Yeah, that's right.
So the first part of that question is, do you feel there is a time frame for growth in a team?
Yeah, there is, but I think the time frame is like if you're rebooking, then I'm happy. It's going to take time, but I don't know what the services are. I don't know what they sell. I don't know if it's hair. I don't know if it's beauty. You know, like if someone's having microdermabrasions, they might have one every 2 weeks. But if they're having balayage, they might not need you really for the colour for another 12 weeks. So what are they booking them in for in between? You know, what are you doing? It could be a waxing salon. So the turnaround, you know, I don't know the number of traffic that's coming in the door. So that's why you need a discovery, because a discovery, I can give you more information. And that discovery will steer you on the right path. See, people say, I'm only a new salon, it's been 18 months. And I think, no, you're not a new salon. Like if someone has a haircut every 6 weeks, they need another one. So in 12 weeks, they didn't repeat. You have to accept that. Another 12 weeks. So if I did Marie's hair today, then why didn't Marie come back? We need to understand that. Maybe she lives far away and it was a one-off visit. Maybe I didn't wow her. Maybe she didn't get a product. Maybe I didn't plan, next time, why don't we do this, Marie? And so what I'm looking for, yes, a time frame, but if they continue to grow with those things, then the time frame doesn't really matter because it's going to happen anyway.
So David said, you make so much bloody sense, XO. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
I love Jen's comment. Totally worth missing Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, well, you can watch it on your iPads. Look, here.
And I just wanted to share this as well. Jen sent me this picture last week of her team member who loves bragging, absolutely loves bragging. And she sent me this picture. It's of her team member with her tongue out holding up a sign, and the little sign said, "Show this to Jay, 38 clients, 23 retail units, first time ever."
It's so cool.
So I can't remember the exact stats, but I think Jen got pretty close to, say, 50 clients in a week and 50 retail units. It was pretty much 100% strike rate, which is amazing.
The reason I love retail so much, and that's why the product agents love me, is because people won't take a product home with you unless they know you, like you, and trust you.
So true.
And they can know you in one visit. If you had one visit with me, you'd feel like you knew me because you're pretty much going to see what I am. And if I said to you, look, you need this. This is the bomb. Like when you wash your hair at home and you use that Pantene shit, you're just going to pull the colour out. You need a copper shampoo. This is what you need. So they go, okay, well, that makes sense. So know, like, and trust. And that's loyalty in your business. But if you're looking after 25 clients and no one's taking it home, you're not making that connection. And maybe you're getting confused with the fact that you feel like you have to entertain them. No, you don't have to entertain them. You have to solve their problems. You ask what the problem is first. And when you have these open conversations with your team about, you know, who the client belongs to, they belong to the salon or the name on the door. They don't belong to you or you or you, right? But collectively, we look after them. You should be going past everyone saying, hi, I'm Lisa, I'm the colourist here. Like, you know, there's a lot of safety in that. And that's where people muck up.
So Jen wrote, it's because Zing Works couldn't sell more than 4 products a week before starting. And I didn't even ask her to say that. How good's that?
Nice.
That's even better, isn't it? So tonight after the webinar, you will get an email saying thank you for attending the webinar, and it'll have a little link that you can click to book in a turbo call, 15-minute Zing turbo call, where you can spend some time having a chat to us about your business and maybe asking some questions that you didn't want to put in the chat box. If you want to make...
We're here to help. We're not pushy salespeople. You know, if you're not ready to have a coach or you don't want one, or you might already have one, good. Well, you know, just tell us what we could do better. We want feedback, right? So don't be scaredy cat. Just say yes.
Feedback's fertilizer, isn't it? Learned that tonight. So you can click on the turbo call button, and if you'd like to make a time to have a chat to Lisa or to book in a discovery with Lisa, get in contact with us. Put in the chat box here, find us on Facebook, send us a message, but you'll be able to click the link on the follow-up email that you'll get tonight. Also, we've got an extra special little prize in that follow-up email. we're actually sending you a downloadable and printable PDF form of our team member appraisal document, which is absolutely amazing. And it gets misused. So I've recorded a 5-minute video of myself explaining exactly how to use it and what the outcomes will be of this document. You'll have it in your salon once it's filled out by your team for about 6 months. It'll be doggy-eared. You'll have to put another staple. It'll have scribble all over it. It is absolute gold. So you'll love that. So that's a thank you for showing up and attending tonight. And yes, give us some feedback and subscribe to our next webinars because we love doing it. Absolutely.
And there's lots of comments in there. So thank you, everyone, because we can't go through them all. But lots of thanks to you, Lisa. Love listening to us all. So lots and lots of comments. So thank you, everybody.
All right, now go and watch the show. What was the show? I've got to watch The
Bachelor in Paradise, it was.
Watch that. We'll have a chat about that next time, Jen.
That's right.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Lisa.
Have a great night. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.